Hi, my name is Alecia Nelson. I am 24 years old, and at the age of 23, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was a personal banker at Simmons Bank. I did the typical everyday get up for work, go home, cook dinner, prep for the next day, and start the day over again. Um, Life was pretty much get up and go as I please. Whether I wanted to just randomly get up and go get something to eat late at night, or just getting up doing, cooking for myself. Things like that I could do before my diagnosis is something that's completely and totally different now. Life before my diagnosis also consisted of me being able to take up time with family, being able to wake up and not have to worry about, how I feel. Being able to lay down and not have to think about, when I first wake up, do you feel okay? Can you walk? Can you do certain things? Like, you take it for granted when you can just get up every day and get dressed like normal. But since my diagnosis, that's one thing that I've noticed has changed, and it's been a big significant change. When I first noticed that I had lumps, was back in February. I started noticing basically through my sleep. I couldn't sleep on my left side for a long period of time without hurting. And when you're asleep, you don't really think about it. You don't think about that, maybe something's going wrong. Okay, so around the month of April, my mindset was basically, I'm 24 years old, I have cancer, and all of my life the stigma and being told what cancer is, chemo, you lose your hair, and death. That's just like the first thing, that hit my mind, being I'm 24, I got cancer. No one else in my family in my immediate family that I grew up with has cancer. So I'm wondering, one, where did it come from? How did I get it? But it took me a while, and honestly, up until a couple weeks ago, to finally realize that there's nothing I did to cause cancer. There's nothing, it's just something that God had in my plan for my life. I think the hardest part for me to accept when I noticed I had cancer was me losing my hair. For years, was crazy about my hair. I took pride in my hair. So it was really hard, to know that I had to, at one point I was going to have to say goodbye to my hair and things like that. And that's something small compared to, the things that I have been through. That's something small. But losing my hair was one of the main things head on that was hard for me. The chemo appointments, my chemotherapy treatments, they started out a booger. They're really hard. And not necessarily, when you see people on chemo, you automatically think they're really sick. They're somewhere, laid over, can't do anything. And sometimes you're like that, but you do have good days. I went from being completely and totally healthy to having a very serious terminal illness. But it's not it's not the end. I have a terminal illness, but it's definitely not the end. The appointments, I went from having one primary care, you know, the normal basic doctors, to I think I'm on doctor maybe 5 now, of meeting new doctors and seeing, you know, doctors for certain things. The appointments, they are, like I said, the chemotherapy appointments, they can be good and they can be bad. It normally takes roughly around, for me, 7 days for my body to get completely, and for me to feel somewhat normal after what I call the deadly chemo to go through my system. The purpose of chemo basically is to, you know, kind of shrink the cancer cells, but to also, you know, prevent them from popping up in different areas of your body. One thing that chemo did not do for me at first was shrink my tumor. So the reason I say chemo can be a booger, you have to sit down for, you know, 2 or 3 hours every so often and get this drug administered into your body, and you're not seeing the results, you know, that other people have seen or other people have had. But you can't lose faith. You can't be sad about it, and you can't stop the treatment. Even though it doesn't work, you still have to continue with the treatment. I am very grateful to have the doctors that I have. They're pretty concerned. A lot of them call me personally to just offer encouragement because I am so young dealing with this. The advice I would give to any woman, cancer, no cancer, is to please go get your yearly checkups. And don't be afraid. If you see something's there, if you know something's there, do not be afraid to see what it is. Because early detection is true. Early detection can help. Back in 2019, when I got diagnosed with fibroadenoma, it's basically a tumor, or what they would call it, a small tumor, but it doesn't have any cancer cells in it. It's basically a benign tumor. Back in 2019, I was told to go to the doctor every 6 months. And back then I was 21, 22. I just couldn't see myself going to the doctor and one day they turn into cancer. That was my biggest fear, is that they turn into cancer. But the opposite happened. They're still there. They're still benign, but cancer did grow. So if you see something, if your doctors tell you to get your checkups, come and see them every 6 months, do so, because early detection can help. Although my doctors told me that it was the coming every 6 months probably wouldn't have caught it, because it happened so fast. Like, everything kind of literally happened so fast. The 6 months detection wouldn't have caught it, but still, get your mammograms, get your checkups. If you see something, if you feel something, please go see about it. Please go see about it. Life can change overnight and you will never be the same again. I know for a fact I'll never be the same again. One of the things that I noticed was, like I said, the lump under your arm, your lymph nodes drain from your breast under your arm. If your lymph nodes are swollen, that means it's some infection, something's going on somewhere. Whether it's something small, whether it's cancer or not, something's going on somewhere. A lot of times my doctor, he would literally check every lymph node that I have from my neck to my waist, just to make sure it hasn't, attacked another lymph node. But early detection is always best. Please, self-checks, everything. It's just best to go ahead and fight it head on, because it can be prevented, and it is something that can be cured. I will be cured. I haven't had, you know, the radiation or anything like that. I haven't started it just yet. But I know for a fact my plan hasn't went the way I kind of wanted it to go. And that's another thing. Every cancer story is different. For me, it was really hard hearing how other people are, you know, almost back at work. And, you know, we started around the same time. And they're almost back at work. And I'm still, you know, at home. Can't, you know, some days I'm good, some days I'm bad. But get checked out. It really would help. It really could save your life. I know my life still, I'm gonna be okay. It was hard for me to kind of understand it at first, but I'm gonna be okay. If I had to, you know, give advice to anyone else just getting diagnosed or already going through a diagnosis, keep your family around. Keep your family around. It might get hard, but keep your family around. Your family is your biggest support. I grew up with a big family, and I don't know what I would do without them. Keep your family around. From when you need things, they're there, no matter how big or small. And I struggle with, you know, asking them for certain things, but no matter how big or small, your family will be there just to talk, just to listen. And even not only family, but friends as well. And to anyone that has done anything for me, whether it was something, bringing me something to drink or doing anything for me, I just want to say thank you. Another thing I want to add is you need prayer. Not only having people praying for you, but praying for yourself. Because sometimes people say you can call, but sometimes you have to literally just lay there and pray for yourself. Pray that you can fight. Pray that you can get through it. You got to have a relationship with God. You got to. So prayer and family, they go in together with my family for sure. But prayer and family. And this is just a portion of my story, and I thank you for listening. Okay.
Whatever you see, just worship. Say it now. It's okay. Now. Worship Jesus. Say it again. It's okay. Worship Jesus. He's alive. He's alive. When I think about you, I think about me. I wanna see myself falling on my knees to get down with you. To get down with you.